Looks like meat back on the menu, boys!
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of GregTech New Horizons. How are you guys doing today? How's life? Let me try to answer your primary concern first, warp. Warp is incredibly dangerous, it's basically insanity, and if it gets out of control, you can literally lose your base. Especially in this mod pack, which I think it has been boosted. But thankfully, I know how to control warp, because I'm an insane person, and I know how to control it. It's one of the perks of insanity. You learn how to hide it. If you guys remember, last episode we set up 2 pyrolyze ovens and 2 distillation towers in order to get byproducts out of the byproducts of converting wood into charcoal. Because the pyrolyze ovens that you see over here are basically coke ovens, which are programmable, so they give us different types of byproducts. One of the byproducts that we are processing at this very moment is wood tar. That goes inside the distillation tower and it gives us a bunch of goodies, including toluene. The other one which we set up last episode was wood gas, which one of the byproducts is ethylene, and we need a lot of polyethylene, so that's very useful. Of course, I don't really have to mention it, but we are also getting hydrogen gas, carbon monoxide, methane gas, and CO2. Aha! Nausea. It's very nice. But you see, it has been 2 backups, so it's not that bad. Anyways, what I wanted to say was that since we have set up these distillation towers, our ethylene production has received a massive boost. Look, we have 200,000 millibuckets, this guy is full, and we have a lot of sheets. The reason that I'm actually converting some of them into sheets is that sometimes we need the pulp and there's no recipe for the pulp. So you have to convert them into sheets and then pulverize them. In addition to that, we are also receiving a massive amount of toluene, which we are converting it into industrial TNT. And that is a decent amount. But that was wood gas and wood tar. And we have 5 pyrolyze ovens. Why? Very good question. One of the byproducts that we get from the pyrolyze oven is called wood vinegar. This is also relatively useful for us because we will get extra acetic acid and acetone. Of course, it's not very efficient because half of that will be converted to water. But when these 3 pyrolyze ovens are working, we're getting a ton of charcoal. What do we do with that? We're not going to void it. We have a 4th pyrolyze oven so that we can convert charcoal into coal tar. I'm not exactly sure if we need the byproducts of coal tar in very large quantities, but these are the goodies that we're going to get, including kerosene and naphtha. The 5th one is going to be the special one. Why? A lot of biomass using mulch, which is essentially biochaff, which is essentially plant mass, which is essentially plant ball, which is essentially any type of plant material inside the compressor, including apples and saplings which we are getting from our tree farm. And the stupid amount of biomass that we're going to get from it is going to replace our sugarcane farm and the brewing tower, which obviously the end goal is to get a lot of nitric acid. Everything that I have mentioned so far is something that we are going to work towards this episode and the next one, but we do have a very urgent issue. Oil. We don't have enough. So our first task for today is going to be getting oil. There is an oil drilling rig which is not that bad, it's a multi-block structure but it does only 1 by 1 chunk. But now that we have been to the moon, there is another one which requires titanium which we got from the moon, and it can work on a 4 by 4 chunk. That is something that I want. And to be honest with you, apart from the titanium, it's not even expensive. So you are friendly. I never gave you the chance. I'm sorry, then you shall stay with me. Go in, go in. Thank you, thank you. I can have my arcane levitator back. And we close it. Welcome home. So ladies and gentlemen, let us get crafting. We need a lot of stuff. So it has been a while, and the controllers were not the only things that I've been working on. You should remember that these are actually multi-blocks, and we need additional blocks which are going to be made out of titanium. And as you guys know, titanium does not grow on trees. We have to extract it from different materials, and yes, we do have a little bit over here, then we should be able to get a little bit more through a blast furnace like so, which is not going to be wonderful, but we don't have a choice. I managed to get a little bit from pulverizing as well, and we have a few in our system. But again, that was rutile, it's not even titanium, we need to convert it, so it will take a little bit more time. But in the meantime, I have been also trying to make a few data sticks. The recipe for it is actually not that great, because here it is. It's awful, but I think we should have a few. Yeah, 8 for the moment is not the worst. We also got 2 of them from the quest, so I only crafted 6. But anyways, the way that I understood everything is that we are going to need a Seismic Prospector, and this is the HV version, and it's telling me that I have to place it somewhere, give it explosives, give it a data stick, and then scan the data sticks, print the data from the data stick, and then print it into a book. And I'm assuming it will tell me where are the oil fields and also the ores. And oddly enough, you need 2 powdered barrels or 8 industrial TNT. I think it's just a very weird recipe because powdered barrel is incredibly cheap. We have stopped using it, so yes, it is a problem, but generally it's incredibly cheap. Where are my batteries? I don't know if it's going to require any power or not, but we have some HV batteries. I want to try and use railcraft in order to automate everything with ores and oil, so we are going to prospect in the tunnel. And yes, I know, I'm a genius, because it's already covered. How do I click on you? Can I give you the stick? No. Ow, ouch. I think 90% of our problems are going to be solved with a hopper. So can I pump you in? Here is your data stick. It goes in. And here are 2 explosives. You don't like explosives? Do I have to put it next to you? Oops, it's active. No. So that's not how it works. I'll be right back. Okay, as you might have noticed, that's not how you do that. It seems that the way that you do that is that you place it on the ground, right click with the explosives, and it will be active. And in 40 seconds, we should get the result. Now that the animation has ended, I should be able to right click with you. Well, this one has raw prospecting data. These ones don't. So I think we should be good. You come with me, we go home. I do have a scanner over here. Let us use this one. 50 seconds, nice. Are you kidding me? You ran out of power? I'll give you a battery. Please work for 50 seconds. Yeah, that should last for 50 seconds. It's okay. Saturating tobacco. Atomic bases. I never noticed that we have tobaccos. Anyhow, we have a data stick which has been analyzed. And now apparently I need a printer. This part is actually quite fun. Oh, we can make it. Nice. And that was a quest. We do have some batteries left. That is good. I have no idea how much paper you need. The question is, where do I put the paper? Oh, you also need ink. We need to do a little bit of redecoration, but that should be okay. You come with me. Oh, you do get ink. I had no idea. Oh, but you can't put it in there. Damn. Well, this is GregTech, ladies and gentlemen. Everything has to be done in a very weird way. Yes, we have ink and we're actually printing something. Don't make extra copies. That is enough. Finally, we have to convert it into a book, and that should give me all the information. Okay. This is the list of all the ores which are available with their coordinates. That is actually nice. Yeah, that is really nice. And then we have the location of all the oil, telling me that it's 265 to 427 liters of light oil. Is it millibuckets? I really don't know. We're going to check. You know, everything that I tell you is just basically the tip of the iceberg, because yes, it takes like 5 steps in order to get rutile, but the problem is we need to convert it into titanium. What does it need? Chlorine. Do I have enough chlorine? Probably not, so I have to process a lot of sodalite in order to get chlorine. The thing is, I was actually not expecting to get that much rutile. This blast furnace thing is very effective. Therefore, we are going to have enough rutile in order to make the oil rigs, and probably enough in order to make a few more machines. Because that is essentially 1 stack of titanium, 2 stacks and 40. And we still have a lot left. Nice. Yes, we finally have an oil drill, and it's amazing. It's producing us a lot of oil. But I know what you're going to ask. Lash, your oil drill is over here. You were prospecting 140 blocks away. Why? Welcome to Oil Fields of GregTech 101 with me, Lash. Look into my beautiful eyes. You can't see them. Good. Basically, according to the report that we got from the Seismic Prospector, the Seismic Prospector can scan ores within a radius of 72 blocks. And that is a lot, but for oil fields, it's going to scan a 3x3 chunk of oil fields, which is very different than Minecraft chunks. Each chunk of oil field is an 8x8 chunk. So if you look at the report, it will tell you that it has scanned 9 oil fields, and these are the material which are available in each and every one of the oil fields. The prospector itself was in oil field number 5, which is going to only produce us natural gas. And just to let you know, natural gas is basically garbage because you convert it just into refinery gas, which we already have over there. The book also gives you the corners of the central oil field, which in our case is number 5, and therefore you can calculate where are the other oil fields. Do you see that blue column over there? That is one of the corners, and if we travel a little bit to the north, That is the second corner. And you might also notice that it's exactly on a chunk border. So if I drill over here, this is going to be oil field number 5 and we're only going to get natural gas. But if I put the drill on this side of the chunk, we're actually going to get light oil. And as I have already mentioned, an oil field is an 8x8 chunk. So from that column over there, up to our tree farm, up to that apple tree over there, that is just light oil. So we're good. Of course, heavy oil would have been much nicer for diesel, but it's not in our immediate vicinity. There is only one which is depleted. And so far I can't really complain because this guy is incredibly fast. Oh, and by the way, the reason that I actually made this guy, which is far more expensive than tier 1, is that this guy can be configured in the controller so that it will look for oil in a 4x4 chunk. And that's a lot. So I think it's actually going to stay there for the next 5 or 6 episodes. Also, one very important thing that I forgot to mention is that yes, this guy is on the corner and next chunk is natural gas, but it's not going to harvest the natural gas because we have placed it down in an oil field for light oil. So the 4x4 chunks is going to be that way and this guy is not in the center. At least that is how I understood everything from the wiki. We will see. Now that we have access to a lot of oil, we should be able to work on some automations, because my main issue was I could not produce enough diesel. Now I can. Basically, this entire area that you see over here is going to be our chemical plant, and none of it is actually connected. We need to start automating stuff and we need to start connecting stuff. But just to refresh your memory, the 3 chemical reactors that we have over here and the 2 distillation towers are just for making diesel, which goes over here. The other chemical reactor, oil cracker and the distillation tower is only for making toluene, which comes over here so that we can make industrial TNT. Over the mountain we have a tree farm which the axe actually broke, so it's not functioning at this very moment, but the wood, saplings and apples, all of them come through a railway network to our pyrolyze ovens down there. It's actually a long journey down here. Currently we are only using 2 of the byproducts from our pyrolyze ovens. One of them is ethylene, so that we would be able to make polyethylene down there, and one of them is toluene for industrial TNT. Now we are going to start working on this one for biomass. And just to let you know, I have already prepared a very small care package for us. Let's take it up there. Here it is. Everything we need. If we want to get biomass, where do we start? We need to start with plant ball, which is a compressor recipe. Meaning that if you put 8 saplings, you will get 1 plant ball. Or if you provide it with 8 apples or any other type of fruit, you will get 1 plant ball. It always happens at night. I don't know why. Oh, we have some mobs? Go to hell. You too. What the hell? I feel hungry? Ah, food. And squid. Well, that was very thoughtful. Thank you. We are getting our apples and saplings over at this drawer, so we need to have a connection, which is not going to be that easy, to that pyrolyze oven at the end. I really need flight. Next episode we are going to work on flight. That's it. Because I'm extremely tired of not having flight. The input bus of the pyrolyze oven is on top, so I'm going to make our setup over here, the compressors. Cause you know, it's easier to connect it. I'm going to use 2 compressors because I think it's going to be faster and it's going to be less problems. We're going to use one of them for apples, like so. I'm assuming you're going to be the sapling then. And the other one for apples. We're getting it, very good. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but I can add speed upgrades later on. Also, the main fuel line that I have for powering all the generators is over here, so it's not a problem. I have made a rough calculation, and based on the fuel consumption, I don't think we need that many combustion generators, so for the moment we're going to start with 2. Very good, they're getting fuel. And just in case I have to add another one, we're going to have the 4 times cable. So you guys should start processing one day? No? Yes. It needed to update, that's it. And you might notice that we are getting plant balls. That is good. Obviously this is GregTech, so there are going to be 200 million steps. After the compressors we need a macerator, which goes over there, and it's very symmetrical. And I don't really want you to connect, so go to hell, thank you. The compressors are going to output into the macerator. The macerator is going to take the plant ball and is going to give us plant mass. But now we need to process that plant mass into something called biochaff. That is a cobblestone. I need a centrifuge. The centrifuge is going to take the plant mass and will give us biochaff. Very good, we're getting biochaff. That stupid biochaff now has to go inside the chemical bath. But the chemical bath is not going to work on its own, it's also going to require water, so I did bring a reservoir. And I did forget to bring buckets, but that's okay. Here is 1 bucket and the second one. And you, my dear friend, you're going to export to the chemical bath. Perfect. So the chemical bath is going to take the biochaff and it's going to give us mulch. Sounds weird, I know. And finally the mulch has to go inside the pyrolyze oven and... how do I configure you? Yes, like that. Very good, we are getting mulch. Do we have any more conduits? Not that much. 11. Because the pyrolyze oven, in order to process the mulch, is also going to require water. And I just wanted to have less dire wire and try to do something like this. This should work. Yes. So the pyrolyze oven is getting the mulch, it's getting water, and if we activate it, we should get biomass. So you, my dear friend, start working. No? Oh, there's a circuit. Circuit number 1. I gave it the circuit and let us see. Oh, it's working. Nice. Well, it's not bad because it gives us like 5 buckets. Yes, finally. A lot of biomass. This pyrolyze oven that we have over here, which is making us a crazy amount of biomass, is actually going to substitute our sugarcane farm and the breweries. If you guys remember, we have a sugarcane farm over here, which we are making a lot of sugarcane. 85,000. Almost. All of that sugarcane goes inside a lot of breweries, 30 of them to be exact, in order to get biomass. Biomass used to go inside 2 fermenters so that we get fermented biomass, and then we put the fermented biomass inside the distillation tower so that we would get ammonia and acetic acid. And if you guys still remember, we needed ammonia in order to make nitric acid, and we need a lot of nitric acid, and I will tell you why after we have moved everything to our chemical area. And by everything, I also mean our distillation tower. I'm so happy I made this wrench, otherwise this would have been incredibly slow. Not that it's working amazing right now, I'm just saying. I have transferred our distillation tower from our farming area to over here. The mechanics stays the same, it's just the way that we're getting biomass. Instead of having sugar canes, we're just having wood. That's it. And the main reason that we want biomass is to get ammonia so that we would be able to make nitric acid. That has a lot of uses, but unfortunately our production of ammonia is not the best. Of course, saplings and apples are not going to be our only source of biomass. I'm going to have a substitute source later on, but I think I also need more fermenters, because they're not fast enough. Anyways, one stupid problem at a time. We are getting ammonia, let us get nitric acid. We were already getting it from this chemical reactor, so what we have to do is to just move it over there. Oh my goodness, inventory management is a pain. I have reassembled our chemical reactor over here in order to make nitric acid and acetone, and I have been told that I don't need a separate large chemical reactor for every single recipe. I can just do it in one, as long as the recipes are compatible. For example, if we want to make acetone, the circuit number is 24, and if I want to make nitric acid, again we need ammonia and circuit number 24. So we are going to do this in one large chemical reactor, and we have a little bit of a puzzle to solve. Here is my acetic acid, that one is ammonia, and that one is CO2, which I'm going to electrolyze in order to get oxygen. And I think for these guys, small pipes are going to be enough. I had to move it by 2 blocks because it was not centered and it was kind of bugging me. Anyways, we are getting acetic acid from this pipe, so that will go inside that input hatch, like so. This one is going to be for ammonia, which I think we're just going to connect it, I don't know, like this one. Acetic acid is to get acetone and ammonia is for getting nitric acid. And we also have a connection for CO2 so that we will get some oxygen. Which in hindsight I should have brought an electrolyzer. I think we have an extra one here, yes. You come with me. So we want the electrolyzer to get the CO2. Yes, very good, very good. And we need circuit number 1 in order to get oxygen. So for the moment, you go in there. Which of course that oxygen has to be extracted and put inside the chemical reactor. So something like this should be okay. So we are getting acetic acid, which goes inside the chemical reactor in order to make acetone, we are getting ammonia for nitric acid, and we are converting the CO2 into just O2. And I fell in a hole. I should fill these in. For acetone we also need to have an input bus so that we can put in quicklime. That will give us acetone. Another thing to remember is that acetone is an HV recipe, so we need to kind of overclock this guy. A bit. Obviously we need to provide it with fuel, and thankfully my main pipe was nearby, so this should not be an issue. Yes, very good. You're getting diesel. Now that I'm thinking, maybe I should have gone with a better pipe, because I'm extracting so much from just one tiny pipe. I don't know, that can be fixed later on. For the moment we just perform some maintenance. I can never imagine myself doing this in real life, but okay. And yes, we really need to have more fermenters, cause, you know, we have a huge backlog and we're basically wasting everything. Here is one, and I cannot make the second one. But do not have any fears, we were out of cables. We're fine. Fermenters do not require that much power in order to operate, so we should be able to power all of them using one generator, and 4 should be more than enough. Yes, this is much better. It's significantly faster, I'm very happy. So our rate of getting acetic acid should kind of increase, hopefully. Yes. This stupid electrolyzer that I have over here also requires power, and well, we can use these cables. Wait a minute, you're MV, you're also MV, okay. Very good, we are converting the CO2 into hopefully a lot of oxygen. That is a decent amount. I'm not gonna complain. So theoretically we are providing this chemical reactor with 4 different ingredients and it should give us nitric acid and acetone. Therefore let us see if I have messed it up. Have I? You can't find the recipe? Yes, the reason it was not working is that I forgot the circuit, but now we're getting acetone and we're getting a lot of nitric acid, which is very good. I'm very happy about it. But we are also getting 2 byproducts, one of them is water and the other one is CO2. I am going to void it because I don't know what to do with them. Theoretically, I don't need to have a trash can over here because the outputs, whenever they are full, they should void the excess fluids, but sometimes they don't. Therefore I have a trash can. But here's the but. I have nitric acid, I have acetone. What do I want to do? I want to make ceton boosted diesel, which requires a chemical called tetranitromethane, which is a combination of nitric acid and basically acetone. Cause it's just a fluid heater, acetone will give you ethanol. Did I make the heater? No. But before I forget, yes, we did have an extra super chest which I'm going to put over here because we need to extract the carbon. We don't really want it to clog things up. Cantle wire. What? Oh, I have cantle wire. Nice. I was keeping this in order to make coils for the blast furnaces, so we have a lot. We have a very janky filtering system from Ender.io, we're just voiding the water and CO2, and over here we're keeping the nitric acid as well as acetone. The acetone goes inside the tank, goes inside the fluid heater with circuit number 1, we mix it with nitric acid with circuit number 12, and we will get tetranitromethane. It's a very garbage ratio, but we only need 20 millibuckets in order to make 1 bucket of ceton boosted diesel. And that is 40% more effective than the diesel that we are using, so it's much more fuel efficient. I personally think it's worth it because we really needed an upgrade. Although the question is, how are we going to process it? Our tetranitromethane is up there, our diesel is down here. Since we do not have access to ender tanks, we need to have some sort of piping to Y level 63. So if I dig that way, there should be a pipe. Yes, very good. That should bring everything to our oil refining facility, and we should be able to start processing everything over here. I'm going to put an extra tank over here in order to get the diesel. So basically if I connect you, you should get diesel, right? Yes, very good. This is a recipe that has to be done inside an HV mixer. So we are going to have an advanced mixer over here. Well, it can also be done inside a chemical reactor, but I don't see any difference in the ratios. So we'll just do it in a mixer. We're going to have 2 conduits in order to import and export the cells from the tank into the mixer itself. And if we start extracting you from up here, which I could have actually just ejected everything, but we're going to ignore that, we are getting ceton boosted diesel. Very good. It's just that it's not very fast, but it's also not that bad considering that it's 40% more efficient than diesel. We can actually start testing it a bit for our drill. It seems to be a little bit better than diesel itself, but I don't know. And considering our consumption, maybe we are going to have 2 mixers because this is not very fast. But today has actually been a very good day because we did manage to solve most of our chemical problems, we did manage to get a drill so we have a lot of oil supply, and we did manage to make ceton boosted diesel so we no longer have fuel issues. And that is very good. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.